that, we'll move into the next article, which is not so much an article, but something I wanted to have a general discussion about because I see this within the technology sector, misapplied from businesses, and also it kind of to a degree dumped on by technical professionals if you follow any infosec on Twitter, and that is the state of IT certifications. And so this kind of there was an article that came out from CIO.com. This is it was last year, but these are the kind of the rankings of some of the top ones that if you're looking to hire someone in your business, oh man, these are the ones you should be looking for, as well as if you're looking to bump up your career, these are big career boosters. Top of the list is CISSP. I'm gonna raise my hand. I got one.
Yeah. Don't you have one of those?
I do.
Shameless plug.
I do have one of those. Shameless plug. AWS, solutions architect. A lot of AWS in there. I consider it a little step down. Other people may not, but the system certified information security manager, roughly a CISSP equivalent. Some Google Cloud stuff. Lots of cloud things have emerged that weren't when I was doing hands-on tech. That cloud didn't exist. You built your own clouds. For those of you that are confused about cloud is just the data center is somewhere else, not in your physical position.
That's it. You're just using somebody else's resources.
And a few Microsoft things, but back in the day, Microsoft System Security Engineer, Systems Administrator, they were big deals in Novell. But one of the things that I
Novell,
schools still use Novell, by the way.
I didn't know that. That's a fun.
Yes, I've actually seen the login. I've not seen that since 2000. What are we in 2020?
That's a throwback Thursday.
As we digress briefly, but one of the things that I've seen is the certifications back in the day. You used to be able to kind of memorize, certain things to just pass the test with no experience. So it was like milling. You could be this certification mill and have all these certs, but really no practical experience. I would say definitely CISSP being the last one that I've taken. You can't take that without practical experience. I have my problems with the not the content, but the exam itself, which that's a different story. But you have to have the experience to be able to take that. But it's been misappropriated. I got into a discussion a while back with someone that on the business side that goes, oh, you're a CISSP. You can sit there and do all this technical hands-on. And I'm like, dude, CISSP is a management certification. Yes, have I done some of those things? Yeah, but CISSP has nothing to do with my ability to use Kali Linux and do packet sniffing. I've never done any of that type of stuff, which, I've never done hacking. I'm not a hacker, but I'm still in the cybersecurity realm. So, so with your experience, have you, and the people that you've talked to, do you see the businesses looking at these? Because you see entry-level position requires CISSP. CISSP requires a minimum.
It's not an entry. Yeah, that's not an entry-level position.
So for those businesses trying to find good qualified people, how do you view IT certifications in the mix of that?
So I think you got to look at it from two different perspectives or two different lenses. The first lens is as a security provider, then you want people that have these top level certifications, that have the experience, because you're putting them in charge of monitoring security for your clients and other organizations. Now, from an executive standpoint, so non-technical person that's looking to say, hey, look, I realize I have cybersecurity challenges. I want to, be proactive. I want to start taking care of this stuff. Then you need to make sure that your people have these certifications, And, I think one of the big challenges that I've seen in the market space is where businesses say, hey, we're good when it comes to cybersecurity because we have an IT guy. But the IT guy or the outsourced IT MSP that they're working with doesn't have anybody on staff that has any of these security certifications. And so then you have to ask the question of how well are you doing cybersecurity if you don't have these certifications? So I look at the certifications as
so you put
really
weight
kind of that measure. I do put weight on.
You put more weight on some of that.
On some of them, depending upon the situation and what you're looking at doing. So I give weight to the certifications because it at least tells me, one, it's good to get to. So if I'm looking to hire, I'm looking for the certifications, so it at least gives me a baseline of where you should be. Because now I know if you tell me that you're a CISSP, then when we sit down and we have practical conversations and we're going through that interview process, and I'm giving you different scenarios to kind of run through, then I know what I should be looking for. Because you said that you're this, and this is the level that you should be at when you're a CISSP. Now, if you've got an entry level certification, which is fine because we hire those positions as well. But when you come in with those entry level certifications, then I'm not going to ask you these CISSP level questions.
So you actually are you're going to make my point here in a second, just with what you said. The problem.
I hate it when I do that.
I know. Thank you. You make my life so much easier when you stick your foot in my mouth.
Exactly.
No,
I walked into it.
But the issue is the non-technical hiring managers that know they need something, but they sit there and don't categorize the level of certification to the role. They've heard the term security plus. They've heard that they know CISSP. They've heard of a Microsoft certification, but can't distinguish between this one indicates someone that's they've got a little bit of experience versus someone that's been doing it for 20 years, and they mix them all up. So
Yes.
how do either technical professionals or just business that don't that tech is just kind of helps them function, that's not their primary job like it is with you with your organization, to distinguish that they're getting right sized help when they don't understand that's the problem.
So the way we solve that is that you and I and others like us need to start working with HR professionals in educating them on what this stuff really
Bingo.
is and what it actually is.
Bingo.
And that's the only way that you solve that problem, is to get to the hiring managers, because typically they're not tagging the CIO, the CTO to do this hiring position, even though they probably should. But let's face it, a lot of these organizations don't have that position. They don't have somebody in that role as a CIO, or depending upon the size of the organization, there's small businesses out there where, the operations guy also helps to manage IT, and they don't really have an IT background. So you can't put them in charge of this. I think it goes back to one of the points that you made before, right sizing and making sure that people are in the right seats. Because your hiring manager, they're throwing these terms in as prerequisites and for qualifications to apply for the job, but not even knowing what those things actually are. And so the way that we change that is professionals working with HR professionals to get them to understand, hey, this is what this means, and to be the translator or the go-between as they're looking to put these job positions out there and to fill these roles.
No, and I agree with that. And I would say for anybody listening that you're confused on what the certifications are, who they are, find a trusted advisor that you can kind of call on to do that. Or even better yet, before listing a position description out on Indeed or LinkedIn or wherever it is that you do, some passive recruiting from, and you're like, what does this take? Hit up ISC Squared, which manages like the CISSP one, or hit up CompTIA and say, hey, really,
CompTIA Plus has a great roadmap for technology that breaks it down.
They do,
from intermediate, beginner, and so exactly kind of where those skill sets fall. I think it's a great roadmap.
I'm actually I'll take a note. Anybody listening to this, we'll put the roadmap in the description below. I forgot they had actually done that chart, it's
phenomenal,
and it progresses that great resource. So here, any final thoughts as we wrap up with certifications and making sure you get the right people in the right seats?
Yeah, if you're serious about cybersecurity, make sure your people at least have one of them.